Hello, it's Douglas here again. I've been missing in action for a few days because I've had a really severe cold and chest infection making me cough and not sleep, so wasn't much point in trying to do these while I was feeling so bad. It's almost gone now, but if I do break off to cough, you'll know the reason. Today's video is about, strangely enough, most videos are on this channel, about being old. And I want to start with a poem. "You're old, Father William," the young man said, "and your hair has become very white, and yet you incessantly stand on your head. Do you think, at your age, this is right?" That's the first verse of a poem by Lewis Carroll, and I came across it the other day. I've seen it before but kind of forgot about it like you do about things. I came across the whole poem and that made me wonder, do us old people do things that seem strange or illogical to the younger lot? I think we probably do, and here's a few that occur to me straight off. I've got a list here, by the way, so you'll see me looking down and up at it as we go through. Waking up very early. Lots of old people seem to do that. I don't really do that, but lots of people do. Getting up very early. That kind of follows the waking up very early bit. I used to do that as part of my job at one time, but not for many years. Eating your evening meal very early. Again, quite a few old people seem to do that. We don't in my house, but I know quite a few people who do. Sometimes I wonder if it's a throwback to military days or something like that. I don't know, but people seem to do it quite often. Checking the weather forecast in the news all the time. It's an obsession almost with some people. They're on the internet, they're on their phone, they're on the TV, they listen to the radio. It's an obsession. They seem to not be able to go for, more than half an hour without having to look at the latest whatever's going on. I don't get it, but people do it. Here's one that's I've noticed. People having bird feeders in the garden. I don't know any young people who do that. There might be some with young kids who, do it for the sake of the kids, but I don't really know any. I only ever see old people doing that. Having said that, we keep a pair of binoculars on our bedroom windowsill because our back window looks out over some rooftops towards a field, so we can see various birds sometimes in the field birds basically, things like pheasants, things like, we see kites and so forth soaring over the fields. Quite interesting sometimes. Anyway, we don't have a bird feeder. We've also got quite a few cats around here, so having a bird feeder, is that a wise thing when you've got a few cats prowling around? Not so sure. Playing bridge or mahjong. I've never played bridge in my life. I've no idea how to play mahjong. Both things seem to be quite popular among old people. Is it a social thing, I wonder, or is it because they actually really like those card games? Going to bingo. I've never been to bingo. I don't know, again, I think it's a social thing. I know you can win some money at it here and there. Some games can be quite valuable, I believe, but I've never done it. I actually don't know anybody who has, but some people must do it because it's quite popular. Doing crosswords or Sudoku, however it's pronounced. I'm not obsessive about that, although I do crosswords. Sudoku, not so much. Never tried it, don't like the look of it, don't bother. Crosswords though, quite good. I prefer the cryptic type of crosswords. Let's know what you like. Another thing. This is a thing that not only old people do, but I think it's a thing that becomes more interesting as you get older, and that is investigating family trees and genealogy. Again, not a thing that appeals to me, but I've got relatives who are just about obsessive about it. They can tell you their family tree, uncles, aunts, cousins, nephews, all sorts of things going back centuries, some of them. It's amazing really, but Doesn't really appeal to me. It's mildly interesting, but not a thing I can see myself doing. Correcting young people's grammar. You guilty of that? Wouldn't be surprised. Young people have terrible grammar. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, or if it's anything to worry about, but quite a few young people, I think as a result of all the social media, constant texting and so on, it's become less important. Is that a good thing? Bad thing? Don't know. As long as you get your meaning across, that's all that matters, I think. Monitoring the neighbourhood. Curtain twitchers. People who know every single thing that's going on in their street, and most of the things that are going on in the surrounding streets. If you can't get out much, I can see the attraction. You just sit there, quite a pleasant way to spend an hour or two browsing, looking out the window. If you live in the countryside, you'll see mostly wildlife, of course, but if you live out in a village or a town or a street where there's other people, other houses, there's quite a lot to see. Some people call it being nosy. I don't know. Old people tend to go on cruises. Maybe they can just afford it. Maybe they're the only ones who can. Do you do that? Do you like doing that? Do you want to do that? Cruises can be a good way of seeing the world. They can be quite expensive. I mean, I know somebody who spent £30,000 on a cruise. They went off all around the world for about, I can't remember how long it was, 3 or 4 months, something like that. They did South America, Africa, Australia, New Zealand. Didn't get as far as Antarctica, but they came back through the Middle East. It must have been a very interesting thing to do, but I wouldn't really like to be stuck on a ship with all those people, mostly old people, a bit like me, who, you know, who are doing it because they can, and who are doing it maybe because it's been a lifelong ambition, and maybe because of mobility it's the only way they can actually get around to see those places. That's a good thing, but, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe you can convince me otherwise. Let's hear from you in the comments about that. Wearing sensible shoes. All people wear sensible shoes. Most of them, most of the time. I think that's something to do with, is it, or maybe I'm wrong, but maybe it's something to do with strength, infirmity, balance. If you wear sensible shoes, you're not going to fall over as much, and you're not going to get your feet soaked in the rain, for instance, or something like that. It's not a bad idea, really. I have nothing against it. I have nothing against anything on this list, really. But it's a thing that only old people tend to do all the time, I think. Here's one. Young people cannot do this, and that's getting OAP discount. Quite a few places offer discount to old age pensioners. Senior citizens, call us what you like. That's a good thing, isn't it? Do you take advantage of it? What sort of places near you do actually offer that? You know, you often get places like hairdressers. They offer OAP discount on certain days. Restaurants sometimes do it as well. So, you know, what other places do it in your experience? Let us know about that. Falling asleep on the couch at any given moment. Falling asleep on the couch or sofa. You do that? Just drift off. Maybe you're reading the paper, reading a book, watching TV, whatever. All of a sudden you wake up and you've been asleep for 20 minutes. Seems to be quite a common phenomenon. And once again, I don't do it because I actually don't like the feeling of falling asleep if I'm not controlling when I'm falling asleep. To me it seems like I don't know, I might feel like I was about to die if I started doing that. Anyway, lots of people do that, no harm. But the correlation to that is actually deliberately taking an afternoon nap. Again, quite a few people do that, especially old people, but not only old people. Is it a good thing? Not sure. Lots of people seem to benefit from it. They say they wake up feeling a bit refreshed. Not me. In my case, I wake up feeling terrible. I wake up feeling really bad and disrupted. But, you know, it's a thing that's worth thinking about. I've noticed people doing it. My wife does it. She comes to no harm. Anyway, let us know if you do it. What else? Making noises when you sit down or get up. I'm not talking about rude noises. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Not just them. Sort of groaning and harumphing and going and things like that as you sit down or get up. Young people don't seem to do that, but us old people do. Here's one. If you're old, you've heard the phrase trophy wife. Are you fortunate or unfortunate enough to have a trophy wife? Do you want a trophy wife? Have you ever wanted a trophy wife? Did you ever think you'd have a trophy wife? Or husband? I'm not sexist here. Might be a husband. I don't know. People, do they have them? Is it a real thing or is it just a myth? I don't know. Does it only apply to rich old people? Once again, I don't know. I'm sure you'll let me know. What else have we got? Wearing a headscarf. That's probably just the women. You never see young girls or young women wearing a headscarf. It used to be a bit more common amongst old people, and I think it's even dying out now amongst old people. I don't think it happens as much as it used to. Maybe you can let me know about that as well. Wearing a housecoat or apron around the house to do cleaning up, to do washing up, to do anything like that. I never see anybody doing that. I'm not in anybody else's house probably when they are tidying up or cleaning up, but I think it's a thing that only old people do once again. Pretty sure young people do not do that. Maybe you can let me know about that as well. We're almost at the end of this list here, but there's plenty more. You can let me know what other ones you know about, and there's lots of them. I'm quite sure I only spent about 5 minutes, 10 minutes thinking about this list. Here's another one, starting a sentence with, in my time. Do you recognise that? Do you do that? Are you always reminiscing about things? Are you always comparing what happened when you were young to what happens now? And when people come up with something about any subject you like, do you start off by saying, well, in my time, we didn't do whatever it is? Let us know about that as well. Almost there now. Driving under the speed limit all the time. I was a bit dubious about putting this in here. Driving under the speed limit all the time. Again, I think it is a thing that old people do. I'm kind of aware of it. If I pass cars on the motorway, say, that are religiously sticking to 69 miles an hour, and this is in the UK of course, and 69 miles an hour, and I want to do 75 to get past them, 80 to get past them, I'll do it. But some people seem to be reluctant to get past people on the motorway or other roads if it involves going even the tiniest bit over the speed limit. Let's know about that. Is that safe? I'm not sure it is. Last one on my list for the moment, writing thank you notes and letters on paper. Good manners, this. If somebody does something for you, gives you a present, remembers your anniversary, whatever it happens to be, do you write and thank them? People used to do that all the time. I don't think they do it anymore. I don't even think they do it via email and stuff like that anymore. People just don't do it. That's a bit rude really. I think you should do it, but you don't have to do it on paper. But it's a thing that old people still do, I think. So, do you do any of these? I'll be surprised if you don't. And what else do you do in your senior years? There must be a few other things I haven't thought of. There must be loads of them really. So let us know in the comments below. We'd all like to know. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. See you next time. Bye for now.